In this video, I'm going to be making an easy baked cheese ravioli with meat sauce. I'll be making the fancy version with all the optional ingredients, but you could easily make this with just 4 ingredients. These are the minimum viable ingredients here: hamburger, marinara sauce, cheese ravioli, and mozzarella cheese. And then for sides, you can just throw in a Caesar side salad and some breadsticks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when there's new videos. Comments welcome. Thank you. Here's a quick list of ingredients, or you can check out the description below. Alright, I'm going to start out by dicing an onion, and this is one of the optional ingredients, but I think it adds a lot to it, and as is the next, which is the red bell pepper you can see there. But basically, you just want like 1 medium onion diced. This is a big onion, so I'm just going to use half of it. And then a red bell pepper, or you could use green pepper or yellow or orange or whatever you have or get. Like I said, these are optional. The other you don't have to add these. All right. Next up, we're going to get our hamburger going. This could be considered optional, I guess, but I like the meat in the meal, so I'll kind of treat it as a requirement. If you were just making this as a side dish, you could just have marinara sauce, raviolis, and cheese. And of course, you don't have to use mozzarella cheese either. You can use whatever kind of cheese you like or have. So we just want to brown this. It's looking pretty good. So we'll dump in our onions and peppers. And we're just going to cook those a little bit till they soften up. Alright, we need to preheat the oven here to 400 degrees. That's what we're going to bake our raviolis at. Alright, now I'll prep the cheese. I'm using mozzarella. You want 2 cups, which is basically about 8 ounces grated, shredded there. Okay, now the onions and peppers are pretty well cooked. What we need, get in some garlic, about 3 cloves, or a tablespoon. I want to cook that just a little bit, get it to open up and release its flavors and smell. And next we'll go in with some extra spices here. And you can do what you want, of course. Depends on the sauce you use. Now I like to use this Newman's Own Socceroni. I really like this sauce. It's pretty inexpensive too. But whatever kind of sauce you like. And of course, if you buy the chunky sauce, maybe you don't need to add all the other stuff. You know, it's up to you. We're just going to mix that in and get it heating up. Kind of let it cook together for a few minutes, and we're going to grate up some Parmesan cheese to put on top. And you could use the pre-shredded here, but I like to use the, freshly grated. Here's another add-in, baby spinach. Just takes 1 5-ounce bag. We'll dump that in on top, and it's going to look like it doesn't want to, it's going to fit in the pan, but the spinach will wilt down in there. So it just takes a couple minutes. This adds some nice green color. Makes it look a lot more fancy. Alright, now it's going in there pretty good. You can see it doesn't take up a lot of space. Well, you could use some other kind of vegetables, but I like the spinach. Now this is a frozen cheese raviolis, and these are the small ones. They make larger ones too, but I like the small ones. Or you can use tortellini. That's another option for this. Works just as well. Now, if you do get the big raviolis, you may want to just make this in layers instead of putting the pasta into the sauce and mixing it all up. You may just want to put some of the sauce in, a layer of raviolis, some cheese, and I do a couple layers of that because the big ones are kind of hard to stir. And I did find that chunk of plastic that I cut in there. Luckily. because these are frozen, so they don't break up or anything. They're pretty tough. So, and the tortellini works the same way. Then we're going to add in half the mozzarella cheese, or whatever cheese you're using. So that's all through there. You'll have some cheesy goodness inside. The rest of it we're going to put on top. I'll just let that cook just for a couple minutes, and I've turned it off actually, and it's just going to sit, let it cool down maybe a little bit. All right, and we sprayed oil in the pan there, help it not stick, especially the cheese. We just got to get it into the pan, and that cheese is sticking on the bottom there a little bit. You could mix this together in the pan, but it doesn't make a lot of difference. Smooth it all out. Now we'll go top and get the remainder of our mozzarella. And sometimes I like to make this to double the cheese. Go with a pound of cheese. Just make it really cheesy. It's up to you. And then there's the Parmesan on top. Now for the first part of the baking, we want to cover this so the cheese doesn't get too browned, doesn't burn. And I'm going to spray the inside of that foil so it doesn't stick down to the cheese on top. I often forget that, but I remember this time. I had the oil sitting right in front of me, so. Alright, now into the oven. Make sure you've been working out, because doing this with one hand like this, it's pretty heavy. Glass pan, full. Alright, we're going to bake that for 30 minutes with the foil on. Okay, here we are, 30 minutes. Let's check it out. We're going to remove the foil, of course, so it'll start browning on top from this point. Looking pretty good, steaming and bubbling there. Just for kicks, I'm going to check the temperature. At this point, technically it's safe to eat, but we're going to go farther, of course. And you do want to cook it more at this point, because one thing, the pasta is probably not done. Even though it might be warmed up, it's not cooked through yet. It's not so absorbed enough water. Still be kind of pasty. So we're going to give it 20 more minutes uncovered. Alright, now we're looking really good. Definitely bubbling there. Wonderful. Isn't that gorgeous? And that spinach definitely makes this look healthy. Alright, let's dish some of this up and see how it is. Oh yeah, big plate of that. Get some fresh Parmesan on the top. Get a bite here. Oh yeah, pasta's definitely perfectly done. I should point out, you can also use the fresh raviolis or tortellini if you want. They work equally as well. Probably a little bit better, a little fancier. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be notified when new videos become available.